So the good news is it took a week to get there, but doctors across the province have agreed, 97% in favor, to accept the government's most recent offer to basically get doctors back to work in this province. And when I say back to work, I mean back to what they hoped would be, a future they could continue with after we'd heard stories over the past couple of weeks about clinics closing, doctors leaving, going to other provinces. Dr. Michael Kalin is one of those. He's a family physician, director of the Kildare Family Medicine Group, and on the line. Dr. Kalin, thanks for the time this afternoon. It seems to me last time we spoke, the news was bad news because your family medicine group was one of the ones you said would have to close. Does this agreement change anything?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. We hope it is good news, but the truth is this was just a vote of confidence for the FMOQ, our federation, to go forward with new negotiations in January. And those details we don't know. We've essentially given our leaders a blank check, a vote of confidence to now sit down with the government, a new Minister of Health, to come up with a new agreement on how doctors will be paid. So what is the future of family medicine groups? We don't know. Hopefully it will be very positive, and we're certainly extremely encouraged today.
Okay, that's interesting. So again, this is good news at the outset to find out that, the percentage was as high as it was at 97%. But yet you're saying you have to, the devil, as they say, is in the details. We don't know what those details are going to be. What in this agreement is there that you do like specifically? What changes in here?
Well, first of all, it's what they removed. And Law 2, as you remember, was adopted by a gag order in the middle of the night, a Friday night, early Saturday morning, without debate. Now we have an opportunity to sit down and collaborate. Doctors won't be seen as adversaries anymore, but as, well, really partners in care, which is what we are. They've removed this, the stick. And instead of saying to doctors, well, you are the reason for all the ills of our system, we want you to be part of the solution. And we're going to give you the carrot. We're going to give you incentives. And we've spoken before, we have more than 1.5 million Quebecers without a family doctor. To just assign them to clinics wasn't going to accomplish anything other than, a paper move. Now there's an incentive to take on 500,000 patients by the end of June of next year, 2026. And that's a tall ask, but let's try to do it. Let's see if we can get the groups working better. Let's get more resources for the family doctors. Let's make family medicine attractive to new graduates. And let's find a family doctor for everybody in the province. That's what we all want.
Can you explain that part about taking on the 500,000 additional patients? How is that supposed to work?
Well, right now, patients are either individually registered to a doctor, so you may have a doctor who's been following you for many, many years, or more recently, under the quote-unquote GAP program, you may be collectively registered to a clinic, which means that you have a home of care, but you may have a different doctor each time. Maybe it's not quite the gold standard, but certainly you'll have a home, there'll be a chart. The doctors can collaborate in your care. So the goal of the 500,000 is that's between collectively registered or individually registered.
Okay.
And let's be honest, some doctors are leaving, some doctors are retiring. It's going to be 500,000 plus all those departures. So we need new blood. We need the government now to, relax those restrictions, what we call PREMs, those licenses. Let's get young blood into family medicine. Let's make family medicine attractive again. And if we can do that, well, then we can accomplish the goal.
All right. What about with respect to what was in this bill originally, this part about, punishing doctors for performance-related, issues with respect to not wanting to take on new patients? Is all that gone?
Yes. All that is removed. And I want to just clarify, it's not that family doctors don't want to take on patients. The issue with the performance penalties was that they were regional and even provincial. So a family doctor in Côte St. Luc could be penalized for outcomes that weren't being met in the Gaspésie. And we always thought that was completely unfair. Let's make, goals that are local, that are achievable. We need the resources to do this. We need to see us as a partner as well. Help us with the nurses, the nurse practitioners, the social workers. It takes a village. We need a primary care network that goes well beyond just family doctors.
When we spoke and you talked about closing your clinic, I began by asking you, what does this mean going forward? I understand the hesitancy here to simply say, this is great news, everything's going to be great. I understand this basically just opens a door and we have to wait to see what that delivers. from other people within your group? Is there optimism, or are they just as, sort of careful or cautious as you are right now?
Well, it's the holiday season, so we have to be optimistic. And this is wonderful news as compared to, 10 days ago. So there is hope. And now we think the government wants to sit down and talk.
Right.
And this is the first start. And we know that Law 2 or Law 25 or whatever they call it now has been shelved. It's, they'll put in the amendments. This is good news. So we want to change the system for the better. We can do this collaboratively. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but like you said at the beginning, the devil is in the details. We have to see what the final product will be.
So one of the issues I wanted to try to understand here, we mentioned the 500,000 additional patients. Is there more money being made available to doctors or family medicine groups? Is that any part of this?
Yes, there will be incentives to take on more patients.
Okay.
But at the heart of it was just a matter of capacity, which is how many patients can a doctor reasonably take care of without compromising the care of everybody else. And you heard the terms McMedicine, access, but we want quality, not quantity. And we have to do this the right way. And that's where the team gets involved. If we have the support staff, the nurses, the IT support, everything together, we can accomplish more. We can become more efficient. We embrace that, but it has to be done the right way. It can't be done by a gag order in the middle of the night with just a stick. We are partners in care. We want to help, and we will.
Can I just ask as well, with respect, you brought up sort of telemedicine here. Is there something in this bill, the new part of this, that addresses that as well?
Yeah. So under the old bill, Bill 2 or Bill 25, telemedicine was going to go down to a fraction of the remuneration that it is right now. And basically, doctors would stop doing it. So it was going to remove telemedicine as a viable option. Now, that is not the case. We can continue to do telemedicine as before, which, let's be honest, why are we making people come in bad weather, bad snowstorms, just to do something that can be done over the phone? We believe in telemedicine. This is one of the areas that Quebec was really a leader in Canada. It came out during COVID, and Quebec was one of the first provinces to adopt it. They did a great job. Let's not do away with something that's really working well.
Look, it's, I hate to say it this way. I want to say it's great news, but you're right. It is potentially very, very good news. And I'm sure it's good news, of course, for those who are even considering leaving here, who maybe will sit back now and wait a while before making that final decision to see what is going to happen when we finally get the details here. Is there any indication, Dr. Kalin, how long this is going to take before we actually know, specifically what's in here?
Well, the goal is to have something in place by July 1st, 2026. Okay. And I know that the FMOQ negotiators are already at it. They did a phenomenal job. They stuck to their principles. They really defended the members well. At least 97% of us think so. And I have great confidence in them. And hopefully we have a new Minister of Health who's going to work in the spirit of collaboration. And I think together we can start to, stop the hemorrhage and start finding some good solutions. That's what everybody wants.
I wasn't going to ask you. Yeah, I was going to ask, but you did bring it up. So we had our health minister yesterday, Christian Dubé, actually resign. Do you take that as a positive step?
I do. I think that it would be very hard to move forward with Minister Dubé. He really dug in his heels, and he really was very hell-bent on Law 2, and he was not particularly receptive to the FMOQ and the member concerns. And I think that only when Premier Legault stepped in and the head of the Treasury that we've had a breakthrough. And I think it's time to turn a chapter, and it's time to find somebody new who will listen to new ideas. And I wish Mr. Dubé the best and a happy New Year, happy holidays. But I think, it's time to move on to somebody new.
Leave it at that. Dr. Michael Kalin. Dr. Kalin, thank you so much. Wishing you all the best as well.
Thank you so much.
Take good care.
Seasoned gamer or just video game curious? This Week in Gaming is the podcast for you. We break down the latest in the world of video games, from basics to beyond. The hottest gaming news, insight, and industry leaders and more, weekly. Join me, Naomi Kyle, and stay ahead of the game with all the latest updates, even if you're a total newbie. Stream This Week in Gaming on the free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.